Right guys, what have I got to do today? Well, while my router table's still set up with the rounding off bit, I'm going to run the main body. I'm going to run this through the router table and round off all the edges. Then, well, I don't know what's after. Oh yeah, then I've got to do more routering. I've got to fit the trigger and the trigger release and the elastic release. So I'll have to figure out what router bit to use, and I really don't know until I come to do it. So let's get on with what I do know, and then I'll do all the bits that I don't know later when I've figured it out. Let's get making. The trigger guards is a lot narrower than the pistol grip, so I can round all the edges right up to about here, because the pistol grip is going to be somewhere around about there. So I can round from here to the back and from there to the forward and all the top edge. Once I've done that, I have to router the groove on the top, and I have to router all the space for the elastic release and the trigger. I'm not quite sure where to do that yet, but once I've rounded everything off, I'll work out where to do that. The next thing I have to do is figure out where to drill the holes for the bowstring release pin and the trigger pin. That shouldn't be too difficult, but once I've done that, I've got to figure out how much I've got to router out of this main bodywork, and that's going to take me a few extra minutes because I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I'll have a think about it and come back. And now what I've got to do is router this groove. And if I mess this up, it's broken. Okay, so I found out where I need to router. It was a bit easier than what I thought in the end. And the good news is, all this will be hidden when I put the pistol grip into place. So it doesn't matter if it's not 100% perfect, although I'll do my best to get it right. The only problem that there is when I was figuring out where to drill the holes, I've put a mark here, which shouldn't be there, but that doesn't matter because, where is it? Oh great. This strip that I talked about yesterday, I'm going to make two pieces out of this and fit them onto the sides. So it'll cover any of them marks. No problem, I'll soon sort that out. So all I'm going to do now is drill these two holes, and I'm going to call it quits for today. I'm tired, I've had enough, had a busy day. Before I fit everything in position, I'll show you how the trigger mechanism works. The trigger has a flat piece here and another flat piece at about 45 degrees. The first flat piece locates this, And providing you've got a little bit of pressure on here, you can feel it almost lock. You can feel the correct position it goes into. And then, as long as you've got something pushing against this, once the trigger gets pulled back, this flat piece locates against the bottom of here and stops it going any further. And with a spring on here, once you release the pressure from here, it'll go back to that position. And a little bit of pressure stops it going any further. It's quite a simple mechanism, but it's very effective. It's good. I like it. I've routed all the space for the trigger mechanism to sit in. All I need to do now is to make a little hole in the top for the bow release. This has got to come up through a hole here. So I've got myself a square file. No, I haven't. I've got myself a square chisel. So I've got myself a square chisel. First of all, I need to drill a hole and then I can chisel it. Trigger mechanism and the spring all fitted in position and it fits perfectly. I've centered the trigger by putting a small washer on either side of the trigger, and that makes sure it's right in the center of that groove that I've routed. All I need to do now is make some trim for each side, and that'll cover these two holes. You'll still see the screws, but the holes will be covered, and that way you don't see that little mark anymore. Let's get on with it. Well, now that that's done and it's working and it's looking pretty good, I'm going to make the hand grip out of this. I glued it up yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. So I've just got to mark it out and start making that. Instead of making the trigger guide out of wood, I've decided to make it out of 5mm bar. I'm going to bend it into shape and then spray it black. Well guys, looks like I'm going to have to make a third episode after all. I was hoping to do this in 2, but it's a little bit more complicated than what I thought. If you join me in the next episode, you'll see me finishing all the assembly off, and then I can get on with testing it. If you don't want to miss out, subscribe to my channel. And then, when I put this video online, you'll get a notification. Catch you in the next episode.